Hi everyone, Caroline here, and today I want to share some tips on how you can choose the right type of crystal to use if you're having a physical condition, how to choose the right type of crystal to use if you're having a mental situation, how to choose the right type of crystal if you're having an emotional situation, or even if you're having a spiritual situation. There's some of us who are working with crystals because we want to target some specific physical situation we are facing, and we want those crystals to address that physical situation. But then sometimes we don't even know whether the crystal that we are using is really addressing that physical situation. Is that crystal we are working with, or is that crystal we are wearing addressing that physical situation that we want to target? Or is that crystal addressing something else which has nothing to do with the physical situation we want addressed? For example, there are many of us who love amethyst, and we wear amethyst for everything. We want to use amethyst for everything. But amethyst may not be the right crystal to address the situations that we are currently experiencing. And if you're like me, you want to get results, and you want to get these results fast. And so I just think it's a good idea to kind of know what type of crystals to specifically use for specific things, so that you are using these spiritual tools with conscious intention, because that's how it needs to be. As spiritual beings, the more awake we are, the more conscious we become, and the more we live with conscious intention, including how we use our spiritual tools. Knowing how to work with these spiritual tools is very important. So just think about this. If you're currently experiencing a physical situation, what type of crystal do you need to work with to address that physical situation? If you are experiencing a mental situation, and maybe something's going on with your mind and with your thoughts, what type of crystal would you need to address that kind of situation? If you are experiencing an emotional situation where you are having some deep feelings that are affecting your life in a way that you don't like, what kind of crystals would you need to address that situation? If you want to uplevel your spiritual life, and you want to go deeper, and you want to go higher, and you want to get even more activated into the fullness of who you truly are, what type of crystal do you need to work with to support that process? I think it's very important to know these types of things, just so that we are not wasting time and that we get to the results that we want faster, right? Okay, so here are some tips that I'd like to suggest for your consideration. If you have a physical situation that you would like to address, it's better not to use the gem quality type of crystals. So if you have a crystal which has a gem quality version and a non-gem quality version, like maybe a ruby or an emerald, it's better to use the non-gemmy, dull-looking, opaque version of the emerald instead of using the gem quality version. And remember that for physical matters, the crystal always has to be touching your body. The crystal has to be placed in an area that touches the body directly. Or as an alternative, you can also use them as crystal elixirs where appropriate. You just gotta go with your flow. Okay, for mental and emotional situations, or in cases where you want to target a mental situation or an emotional situation that you are going through, you want to get rid of, consider working with crystals that either have a color or a chemical that relates to the blood or to the fluids in the body. Because as you may already know, our emotions are water-based energies or fluid energies, and there are some crystals which are really great for targeting emotions. And then also there's a relationship between the colors and the chemicals in some of these crystals that really target some specific organs, which can really help us in really aligning and balancing our minds and our emotions. So for example, crystals like hematite have really great amounts of iron, which is really great for nourishing the blood. And then there's crystals like bloodstone, which the name alone tells you a lot about what it does and what specific organ it targets. And obviously it targets the blood, so that's good for the mind and the emotions. And then we also have crystals like pink rhodochrosite, which has manganese mineral, which always targets the heart area. And as a side note, this rhodochrosite crystal is really great to use as a sphere, especially when you want to calm your heart down and when you have these chest agitations. It really is a good one to consider. And finally, for spiritual situations, it's great to use transparent crystals, those crystals that you can see through. The clear stones which sparkle when they reflect light. Gem quality polished faceted crystals are really good for addressing these spiritual situations. But if you don't have a gem quality crystal, any transparent crystal which reflects light like clear quartz or amethyst can do, and they're especially effective for that purpose when worn as jewelry. Okay, so those were some quick tips that you can use to determine whether the crystals that you are using are the right crystal for the particular situation you are experiencing. So just let me know in the comment section if the current crystal that you are using is targeting the specific area that you want it to target. And if you have any questions and you would like a personal consultation, email me at caroline@crystalstock.com. Until next time, I love you guys.